And the first person that I would like to introduce to you is Mr. Ted Petersen. Ted is a Pittsburgh Steeler. We're behind the Steelers wholeheartedly in this community. Also the athletic director at Upper St. Clair School District, a father, has been involved in children's lives for many years, and we've invited him to come in, and yes, he does have his Super Bowl ring, so you need to check that out.
I remember seeing on the screen just here today that when you give affection to your children, that builds their self-esteem, or lack of affection equals low self-esteem. Well, I'm not the most confident guy, that's for sure. If you would only know, you know, I probably have a very low self-esteem. And my father, growing up, I can't remember him ever telling me that he loved me. Although he showed it all the time. He was, you know, he was an honest, hard-working guy, and he protected me all the time, but he never said that. And I thought, well, when I become a father, I'm going to change that, and I did. And years later, when I'm playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the time, I said, well, you know what, I'm going to break that chain. I was a father at the time, and I'm going to tell him I love him. And I can remember calling him on the phone and telling him, I says, Dad, I says, I love you. He said, well, he says, we love you too.
Because when my child grows up, you know, next week is Thanksgiving week. See, children don't want to have to decide who to invite over for Thanksgiving dinner. I want you to think about that. If the issue of mom and dad is not resolved, and your child is old enough now to invite you to Thanksgiving dinner, that is a consideration that they'll have to make. And so we just think it's very important that parents learn how to get along if they don't get along, so that children won't have to choose between which parent, because they have a right to both. They desire both. They need both. It's interesting because the thing that I love about what Ted said about his own father, even though he was not a touchy-feely guy, is that he did, one, you knew he loved you, and secondly, he did all those things necessary to demonstrate to you that he was your dad. And as a consequence, the reason why I think you felt very important, they thought it very important to talk about him, because your father did those things that were necessary to be honored. And that good parenting is honored. It's honored by your children.
You can imagine my surprise as a junior in high school when my girlfriend at the time told me that she was pregnant. Not only my surprise, but my friend's surprise, because everyone was looking at me like, you're lying, Nate. You didn't get anyone pregnant. You weren't doing anything. But it was true. And at that time, I don't know, I was like, it wasn't like my world crashed down on me, but it was just such a shock that I didn't know what I was going to do next. I knew I had to go to college because that was my goal even before anything happened, to go to college, because I had worked jobs in the past to where I was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I can't cut grass. I can't do heavy labor. It's not that I can't do it, it's just that I hate to do it. But so I knew I had to go to college, and I had colleges looking at me for football, trying to give me scholarships, but all of them were far away, and it was like, I didn't want to be too far away to where I wouldn't have any impact on my son's life at all. But at the same time, it was like, if this is what's best for me, what should I do? My family at the time was really being supportive of me and my wife. Most of her family was from Philadelphia, so she didn't really have her family around to help us out. But my mom and my dad and the rest of my family, they sort of all got together and made sure that no matter what I had, no matter what we needed, we had it. If I was running low on money, if I didn't have a car, if I needed to get somewhere, they were there to get me there. They were there to help me.
Take the dust off you, keep on moving. You know, and that's one thing that, as far as men, that's one thing that we don't do. We don't think that, okay, we fall and everything like this, and we get a little hurt and everything like that, and we can't shed a tear or anything like that. But that doesn't make you become a lesser man. A man is a person that can learn from their mistakes, accept their mistakes, apologize about that, and say, you know what, I did wrong, but guess what, I'm going to prove that I'm a better person. You can be out of that child's life for 10, 20, 30 years and everything like that, and that child could be mad with you, but that child is going to be more mad with you and never going to love you if you never come to them and say, you know what, I know I messed up. And I know that it may take the rest of my life for you to understand me. But guess what? I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to make a sacrifice. Because regardless of what, it was maybe in 2 seconds, 3 hours, whatever the case may be, that child came in this world out of love. That child did not ask to come in here. The mother and the father brought that child into this world. And regardless of what, that love, you should be able to move on and do better things.
And dads, you have a strong impact. Your role is strong. It is equal to the role of the mother. Yeah. It is equal to the role of the mother in the eyes of that child. Because guess what? 50% of him is in that child. 50% of her is in that child. That's why parents, we keep saying, I don't know where you get that from. And the father's in the other room saying, oh, that's my boy. I used to pluck them boogers way across the room too. I'm going to go with you. Where would you get that from? I see mothers fly across the room talking about, why, if you love my son, why would you throw him so far in the air? Because I'm man enough to catch him, and I'm never going to let him fall.